Tuesday, June 30th. The big one today. Anthropic shipped Claude Sonnet 5, its best agent model yet cheaper, safer, and the default for everyone. But we've been away 2 weeks, so here's the deal: Sonnet 5 up top, then a 10-day recap. The Mythos models coming back, GPT 5.6 locked down, the Model Q, the chip war, and the IPO clock. Let's go. Headline today is a model launch. Anthropic shipped Claude Sonnet 5. And the one-line version is this: it's the best agent model the company has ever put in the cheap tier, and starting today it's the default for everyone, free and pro included. Start with what it does. Sonnet 5 is Anthropic's most agentic sonnet yet. It plans, it drives a browser and a terminal, and it runs long, multi-step jobs on its own, the kind of work that until a few months ago needed a much bigger, much more expensive model. On the benchmarks it lands frontier adjacent, 63% on SWE-bench Pro, up from 58 on the last sonnet, closing in on Opus 4.8 69, 80% on terminal bench. And on GDPval, the knowledge work test, it actually edges past Opus 4.8. Now the part that matters for adoption, the price. $2 per million tokens in, 10 out, through the end of August, then 3 and 15. That's cheaper than Opus 4.8, and it undercuts GPT 5.5 and Gemini 3.1 Pro. Anthropic is openly pitching this as the cheaper way to run agents at scale. And it's not behind a waitlist. As of today, it's the default model on Free and Pro, and it's live on the API. Here's the line that ties it to everything else this month. Sonnet 5 also posts a lower rate of what Anthropic calls undesirable behaviors, deception, going along with misuse, than the model before it. Think about the timing. The exact failure mode that got the Mythos class models pulled by the government 2 weeks ago is the thing Anthropic hardened in the model it just handed to the entire user base. Powerful, cheap, and deliberately better behaved, all at once. Keep that in mind, because the last 10 days are the reason it lands this way. So let's rewind, because the biggest thread of the last 10 days is the one we left hanging, the Mythos blackout. On June 26th, Commerce Secretary Lutnick wrote that the safeguards were now good enough to let trusted partners back in, and the government cleared Mythos 5, Anthropic's strongest cybersecurity model, for a select list of about 100 U.S. organizations, federal agencies, and critical infrastructure firms. That's the resolution. But read the asterisk. Claude Fable 5 is still suspended worldwide, penalties and all. Mythos came partway back. Fable did not. And the reporting on why it ever happened got sharper. Amazon researchers showed officials a jailbreak that dressed cyber attack requests up as defensive code review, and the NSA reportedly told a senator that Mythos 5 walked through nearly all its classified systems in a red team in a matter of hours. So restored means 100 vetted customers, not the open web. And it wasn't just Anthropic's frontier behind a gate. 4 days before Sonnet 5, on June 26th, OpenAI previewed GPT 5.6, 3 models, codenamed Sol, Terra, and Luna. Sol's the flagship, Terra's the cheaper workhorse, Luna's the budget one. But here's the echo. It went out to only about 20 pre-approved organizations, API and Codex only. And OpenAI says it started that narrow at the government's request, because Sol is its most capable cybersecurity model yet, vulnerability research and exploitation included. General availability is coming weeks. Same week, 2 of the 3 biggest labs both shipped a frontier model straight into a government-shaped cage. Check on the rest of the board. Google's Gemini 3.5 Pro, the one Sundar Pichai teased at I.O., slipped again. Still enterprise preview only, public launch pushed to July, no firm date, even with that 2 million token context window. So out of the 3 frontier models everyone expected in June, Sonnet 5 is the only one that actually shipped to everybody. And underneath that, the talent map redrew itself. Noam Shazir, one of the authors of the original Transformer paper, a Gemini co-lead, left Google for OpenAI. Going the other direction, AlphaFold's Nobel laureate John Jumper joined Anthropic, with reports of 4 senior Google researchers right behind him. The models are moving slower than the people. Do more pieces because the fight isn't only about models, it's about who runs them. On June 24th, OpenAI and Broadcom unveiled Jalapeno, OpenAI's first custom-designed chip, aimed at making it about half as expensive to serve a model. The day after, Qualcomm showed the Dragonfly C1000, a data center processor built specifically for agent workloads, with Meta already signed up for production in 2028. And China answered the export controls the way China answers things. A $295 billion, 5-year AI infrastructure plan, about $59 billion a year in state-directed spend, announced barely 10 days after Washington pulled Anthropic's top models. Controls on one side, sovereign capital on the other. To close, the backdrop under all of it. Anthropic filed confidentially for an IPO on June 1st at a $965 billion valuation and $47 billion in run rate, with a roadshow penciled for September and a listing this October. So when you see Sonnet 5 priced to undercut everyone, read it as a land grab right before Wall Street looks at the books. And one thing that's nothing to do with the Gate Wars. A24 signed a $75 million deal with Google DeepMind to build film production tools. The model fight just walked onto a movie set. That's your 10 days. That's June 30th. For 2 weeks the frontier kept locking itself down, pulled, gated, previewed to a chosen few. Today Anthropic shipped the opposite, the powerful model, cheaper and safer, handed to everyone. That's Claude Sonnet 5. See you tomorrow.